In this time and age, should the parents keep the child in a protective bubble or push them into hardships so that they can counter the real world in the future?
All parents in all times did both. So it's nothing new. What is new is the environment. The environment has changed. In those times, the guilt element was less because the parent was available to the child. Today, the guilt element in the parent is high because the parent is not available to the child. So to compensate for that guilt, the parent tends to overindulge. So things are made easily available to the child. Every incentive was associated with some accomplishment. Today, accomplishment is not at all stated. Incentives are being given as freebies. And anything that is given free is taken for granted. It becomes a hak, mera hak banta hai. And it also destroys accountability. Because I'm not accountable for anything, I deserve it. The power of reasoning develops in the age of 3 and 6.
Okay.
Absorption is going on constantly. Even now, today, you're absorbing, I am also absorbing. The level of absorption is much lesser for me today because my hard disk is full. Character building is part of growing up. Learning language, learning science, learning history, geography is part of education. But character building is also part of education. Today, nobody is taking responsibility for that.
Would it be right to say that a grown-up man is a reflection of his childhood?
Would it be right to say that a full-grown tree is a reflection of the seed? What is upbringing? Upbringing is a composite of the people, environment, conditions, society, traditions that impact a growing person. We consider education as something active, but a large chunk of education is passive.
We hear of children parenting their parents. What would you like to say about that?
The minute he has given up his studies, he has sacrificed his childhood or his youth. The other things are paraphernalias which are add-ons. The fact remains that if that remaining individual is a weak person, then the child has the responsibility of taking care of that weak person who is unable to do anything in life. Like you said, emotional support. When the parents get aged, physical abilities have diminished drastically. Not completely, drastically reduced. Mental faculties are not as sharp. So everything is sort of slow motion or delayed action.
Can care lead to control if care is not controlled?
Two different subjects. I care for somebody, I take care of somebody. Doesn't necessarily have to be that I control that somebody. I care. Control means I dominate, I regulate. The caretaker eventually takes control. Because मैं तेरे लिए कुछ कर रहा हूं तो तू मेरी बात मान. मैं तेरे लिए कुछ कर रहा हूं is care, तू मेरी बात मान is control. Care and control are not exclusive. The control should be along with the care. But the nature of control changes at different phases of the child development. So it is more of a parent education than the child education.
What do you mean by scapegoat?
कि उसका बेचारे का कोई कसूर नहीं था लेकिन उसको कसूरवार ठहराया, मतलब स्केपगोट बनाया. To make a person criminal when he is not a criminal is making a scapegoat. Somebody chooses to be a scapegoat. For example, a car accident happens and the child of the owner of the car is driving the car. And the driver takes the blame that I was driving the car. He voluntarily becomes a scapegoat. We are talking of human behavior. We are talking of human society. And the fineness of human cultivation is currently being lost somewhere in the upbringing of the child.
ये गुस्सा क्यों किया और मैं उसको कैसे कंट्रोल करूं? कैसे उसको लूं अपने ऊपर?
लोग गुस्सा क्यों करते हैं? क्योंकि उनकी अपेक्षाएं होती हैं. जब वो अपेक्षाएं पे आप खरी उतरती हैं, तब गुस्सा नहीं आता है. क्योंकि जो उनकी अपेक्षा थी, उसका समाधान हो गया. तो जब मैं असमाधानी हूं, मेरी अपेक्षाएं परिवर्तित नहीं होती हैं कार्य में,
हाँ,
तब मैं गुस्सा दिखाता हूं, ये सोच के कि गुस्सा दिखाने से मेरी अपेक्षाएं आप तुरंत मुझे उन अपेक्षाओं में समाधान देंगी.
So we live in an era of lot of mental stress. I wanted to ask you about the use of sleeping pills.
So you are a dependent person. You are depending on an external prop to enable you to achieve what you want to achieve naturally. So you have embarked on a journey which is self-destructive. This is same like cigarette smoking. You know you are destroying your lungs and you are unable to come out of your habit of smoking, a habit which you were not born with, but which you cultivated.
Called genetic inheritance. So, is there a chance like you can break this thought process? Found out, okay, yeah, okay.
I would be very happy to use the word inheritance in terms of property and wealth. Some people might say that there is something called genetic inheritance in terms of your physical structure or your physical conditions. Like, just to take some common examples, diabetes or heart condition. I have acquired from my parents or I acquired from my father's side. Now, while it may sound true and logical, it isn't so. Because if that is the case, you would have had high blood pressure at birth. What you have copied culturally, traditionally in a family or a community is done blindly.
So I'm seeing a rise in belief in numerology. Do you believe in numerology?
Whether I believe in numerology or not is inconsequential. Numbers are a reality. Numbers are a reality of life. So it doesn't matter whether somebody believes in it or not. So numerology is a science. It doesn't matter whether I believe in it or not. So when you say, do you believe in this numerology, you're discrediting numerology as a science. You might have met a numerologist who gave you wrong results. You can blame the numerologist. तेरे को अक्कल नहीं, तेरे को ज्ञान नहीं. But you can't say numerology is bad or wrong. As a science, every science is perfect. Our knowledge of that science is inadequate.
So, who is God?
People don't get the impact of this word omniscient. It is all happening simultaneously with all the knowledge of creating anything and everything. So basically, God is energy. Sarva Vyapi, omnipresent, Sarvagya, Jnani, and Sarva Shaktiman. और हर इंसान को अगर इस दृष्टि से देखा जाए कि वो भगवान का रूप है, then every इंसान will look at every other इंसान as भगवान का रूप. Today we are looking at each other as competition, and therefore there is jhagda and strife in this universe. God is simple. We have complicated.
I have this persistent question within me. Why do we die?
Question should be preceded by another question. Why are we born? So if something is born, then there's bound to be death. An atmosphere of unwantedness, fear has been created around this word death. And that's because none of us have been formally educated in the subject of life. Yet, the common question which people ask is, we see death every day. What have you seen? You have seen a life form perishing. Life has not perished. The energy component and the subconscious mind go as a bundle. What kind of bundle is this? It's not possible for you to perceive this bundle with your sense organs. Nobody can see, nobody can hear, nobody can smell, nobody can touch, nobody can taste this bundle which has left the body. So for the soul, the same thing happens. The initial attraction is very strong because you have been associated with a particular environment. Now you have departed from that environment. So initial tendencies, as you said, hover around the location of life and death. Eventually it realizes the futility that I no longer belong here, and it starts drifting.
तो क्या मोक्ष प्राप्त करने से हम सब कष्टों से मुक्त हो जाते हैं?
ऐसा कहा जाता है. जिस आदमी ने मोक्ष प्राप्त किया है वही इसका जवाब दे सकता है। हम लोग अभी तक उस स्टेज पे नहीं है। तो इसलिए मोक्ष प्राप्ति अगर कष्टों का निवारण है तो वह हर इंसान का ध्येय होना चाहिए। अगर मुक्ति चाहिए तो ज्ञान ही आपको उसकी राह में ले जाएगा। तो ज्ञान हासिल करने के लिए आपकी तैयारी है, आपकी लगन है, और आप जिंदगियां, एक जिंदगी नहीं, जिंदगियां उस पे भेंट चढ़ाने के लिए तैयार हो क्या?
So my question to you is, do ghosts and spirits exist?
Souls exist without a body. All right, whether you choose to call them ghosts or by any other name, that's entirely up to you. If this was true, all mothers would be near their children. Why are they not there? All mothers would be ghosts. Why are they not there? It is not a rule. You have transited, means you have gone onward on your journey to newer vistas.